Yo, what's up, fam? Fanof here. First video of the day. How's everyone doing, guys? Let me just turn on this background light and we'll get started. Alright, guys, today we're going to react to the news. Yes, the news. The news from Philip DeFranco, guys. So let's get started. If you guys don't know, I do skip through some of these stories because I don't want to listen to the whole video a lot, you know. A lot of videos we got to react to. I started kind of late. Without further ado, let's check it out.
Today, we're talking about Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis getting exposed after they defended Danny Masterson, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. The head of Spain's Soccer Federation has resigned
As they went out and came out and made an apology. I didn't even know they supported the dude, bro. If they didn't come out with this apology, the freaking Twitter news, the Twitter news, you know what I mean? The Twitter news, freaking, what do they call it? Accounts, handles. They're gonna pick up the story. They're gonna repost it everywhere because you know, that they do. And as well as me, I'll probably report on it. But guys, let's keep watching.
after their kissing scandal. Vice is accepting Saudi blood money and covering up the country's human rights abuses.
Nice.
And Americans are so stressed out and clogged up, we're causing a nationwide laxative shortage.
Oh my goodness. All right, after this plane incident, now we have a laxative shortage, guys. So the strangest things happen on planes, but hey, it's better than bad things happening. I mean, it's bad, but yeah, strange things happen on planes, guys.
Let's talk about all that and so much more on today's brand new Philip DeFranco show. You daily dive into the news, powered quite literally by Wake and Make Coffee. Discover how
Let's get into it, bro. Oh, snap, we got it.
smooth and delicious coffee is supposed to taste at wakeandmakecoffee.com, where you can actually grab your first
Bro, we got 2 sponsored ads in this video, man.
bags for up to 50% off. But we've got a lot of news to talk about and break down, so let's just
Thank goodness that wasn't a 30-second ad roll.
jump into it. Starting with this Ashton Kutcher Mila Kunis situation is bad. Like, they have dug a hole so deep for themselves with this Danny Masterson situation, and it appears to just be getting deeper and deeper by the day. Right? There's a lot going on here, so let's start at the top, because all of it stems from Danny Masterson's sentencing last week. Right? We talked about it. He received the maximum sentencing of 30 years to life on Thursday over 2 rape convictions. And sometime after that news
Dang, bro.
broke, we later learned that both Ashton and Mila are among dozens of people who wrote to the judge in support of him before his sentencing. In his letter, Ashton called Danny a role model and added, "I attribute not falling into the typical Hollywood life of drugs directly to Danny. He has always treated people with decency, equality, and
Judge is like, I don't care, bro. You're still going getting locked up.
generosity." Ashton also claiming it would be, quote, a tertiary injustice in and of itself.
Tertiary, guys. I don't think I've ever heard that word in my life.
If Danny's daughter were raised without him present. Mila then calling Danny a brother figure in writing, his caring nature and
A brother figure, guys. Another word I haven't heard in my life much.
ability to offer guidance have been instrumental in my growth both personally and professionally. And adding one of the most remarkable aspects of Danny's character is
As I didn't even know she was like I don't think she wasn't even on 70 Show, was she, guys?
his unwavering commitment to discouraging the use of
The only way I know her is from friggin' being the voice of Meg.
drugs. His influence on me in this regard has been invaluable. And they immediately received tons of backlash for doing this, with people saying things like, "This whole, but I know him and he's a nice guy. He doesn't seem like he would do that." That mentality is precisely why so many survivors don't come forward to begin with. Just because someone is nice and pleasant to work with doesn't mean that they aren't capable of abuse. As well as the dude is a rapist and Ashton Kutcher is out here trying to convince people he's a good guy. Men need to stop backing up their homies doing fucked up shit. Makes me wonder what you're also doing if you think that's okay. Others also bringing up the fact that Ashton is the founder of an anti-sex trafficking group, saying he is a vile hypocrite for trying to lead the fight against sex trafficking while also defending a rapist, with people calling for an investigation to be opened into his organization and others arguing that all
Dang, bro. Twitter backlash.
credibility is not just gone but incinerated. But that is
I did not know about those tweets.
not where it ended, because over the weekend, Ashton and Mila made a video addressing the backlash.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
Saying that Masterson's family asked them to write character letters about the Danny that they've known for 25 years, so the judge could consider that when sentencing him, but
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read. and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or
Said they're intended for the judge. They want the public to know about it. I don't know.
reach homicize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
And they closed the video by saying their hearts go out to all victims of sexual abuse. But all of that did not sit well with a lot of people who thought that it was a terrible apology. With people saying it seemed like they weren't sorry for what they did, but rather that the public found out about it. You also had one of the women, Danny,
Yeah, it's
who was convicted of raping, speaking out,
all right, enough of this, guys.
telling journalist Yashar they didn't do the horrible things
And Griffin was a pedophile, and I tried to get him caught. Now, this was my brother. So I don't want to hear about Ashton and Mila and Giovanni Ribisi and people that feel like they had to stick up for Danny Mac.
left. And so that's why with this
movie called Cheaper by the Dozen.
story. And then
All right, next story. That's a long story, bro. We're 6 minutes in. Dog, I don't want to hear it all.
this Vice News situation is so disappointing and disgusting. If you happen to be paying attention to Vice News' YouTube channel back in June, you may have caught a 9-minute documentary video they put out about Mohammed Bonesaw. It was titled Inside Saudi Crown Prince's Ruthless Quest for Power. But then, 4 days later, it magically disappeared, with it being set to private after being viewed more than 750.
Man, Vice News, don't react to any Vice News videos because they'll copyright claim. Fortunately, I mean, you could always dispute it, but I just don't risk it.
50,000 times. So that was kind of weird, but they're going through a lot of stuff. Maybe someone, they clicked the wrong button. Except it wasn't an isolated incident. Not long before that, freelance writers did a story for Vice about how the Saudi state is helping families to harass and threaten transgender Saudis based overseas. And there, despite getting a good reception from the outlet's editors, they say it was repeatedly postponed and then canceled. With multiple sources telling The Guardian that both stories were pulled because senior Vice management feared for the safety of its staff in Saudi Arabia. But, very key thing, others instead pointed to a partnership deal that it struck back in January with the MBC Group, a Saudi state-owned media company, to establish a joint venture in the kingdom. And with that, saying that as Vice has struggled to make money in recent years, it has accepted Saudi blood money and adjusted its coverage of the country as a consequence.
Bro, I thought they were like on the left, bro. I thought they'd support transgender freaking agenda, man.
And the outlet's relationship with the monarchy reportedly began back in 2017, with MBS's younger brother setting up a meeting between Vice's co-founder Shane Smith and the Crown Prince. And by 2018, Vice had received millions of dollars through the Saudi Research and Media Group to produce promotional videos for the kingdom. But then, when MBS chopped up Jamal Khashoggi that same year, Vice paused all work in the kingdom. Though that apparently didn't last that long, because by the time the pandemic began, Vice was helping to organize a Saudi music festival subsidized by the Saudi government. And if you didn't know about that, it's not your fault, because for some reason it was so
All right, next story, CA.
content. And then, if you are like an increasing number
Let's hear this laxative story, guys.
of people in America right now, you are having bathroom problems. In fact, Americans are so constipated, more constipated than ever, it has caused a nationwide shortage of laxatives. And actually, according to gastrointestinal experts, travel and hybrid working schedules can lead to irregularity. So potentially that, along
Bro, I don't get constipated. Comment below, guys. Do you get constipated, really? I really don't. I just drink a lot of water. I don't know, guys. I don't.
with the aging population in America, the lingering physical and psychological effects of the pandemic, and a general lack of fiber consumption has caused
TikTokers toting laxatives for weight loss. Oh, snap.
more Americans to turn to laxatives. In fact, according to the analytics company Pattern, Amazon searches for laxative pills have tripled in the last year, with the head of the Gastroenterology Associates of New Jersey saying, "It's crazy to think that our collective bowel dysfunction problems have gotten so bad that we're literally running out of stool softeners." And actually, part of the reason for these shortages is a combination of misconceptions. First, and this was actually news to me, you do not need to poop every single day, once a day, in order to be healthy. According to Mayo Clinic gastroenterology professor Dr. Brian Lacey, anywhere between 3 poops a week to 3 poops a day is actually healthy and normal.
OMG, bro. 3 a day? That's so much to clean up, man. No way.
And you don't need to immediately turn to laxatives if you're feeling constipated, with Dr. Lacey recommending adding more natural fiber from fresh fruit, vegetables, and whole grains. But also, don't expect to be immediately running to the bathroom because you ate a kiwi, because it can typically take a few days to see the effect of natural fiber. But unfortunately, it's also not just constipation that's turned people to laxatives, right? Because you've got influencers and a new rise of TikTokers who have been touting them as a weight loss solution. And so we've been seeing more and more teens abusing them. And in fact, this is such a big issue, I'm gonna stop gatekeeping something real quick. And you know I'm serious about it because I'm about to show something and I'm not getting paid for it. Well, you should definitely try to incorporate more fruit and veg into your diet, because just statistically, Americans suck at consuming fiber. I was the same way 2 years ago. There are a lot of ways to get it.
There's fiber in like chips or something, because I poop pretty healthy. I didn't think I'd even talk about that on a video, but next story, guys.
food and diet are. And then the American Red Cross just declared a national blood shortage, with the organization, which provides around 40% of Americans' blood donations, saying in an announcement this morning that its supply has fallen to critically low levels. I mean, we're talking about dropping nearly 25% since just early August. And they say this shortage could threaten the medical care of patients with an emergency need for blood or people with critical conditions who depend on life-saving blood transfusions. And very notably here, as far as what is causing this, Red Cross specifically said this was driven in part by back-to-back months of worsening climate-driven disasters, and specifically noting that Hurricane Idalia caused more than 700 units of blood and platelets to go uncollected.
Well, that sucks. Climate change. How does climate change affect it that much? I don't think we're going through like a mega giga disaster, are we, guys?
Fentanyl can be incredibly dangerous, especially for kids. And authorities involved in these
Oops.
is hoping that you'll make a purchase out of fear as you see the prices rising. Right? And
Yeah, it's sponsored by NordVPN, guys. I'm not gonna watch the full ad because, you know, we got a NordVPN sponsor though.
back guarantee. And then a growing number of parents in the United States are now being charged with murder when their children die from fentanyl-related overdoses. Or exposure to even a small amount of fentanyl can be incredibly dangerous, especially for kids. And authorities involved in these cases say that they believe some of the kids died because they touched something containing fentanyl and then touched their eyes or mouth, with the Associated Press explaining.
Dang, bro. It's that potent, guys. Wow. Did not expect that to come through, man. They're just using fentanyl while having kids.
The drug is not absorbed into the skin, but experts say it can be lethal if as little as 2 milligrams, about the weight of a mosquito, enters the body. And tragically, those deaths have become more and more common as the opioid crisis has escalated. And that also creating a need for prosecutors to deal with these horrible cases and try to prevent more from happening. Right? And currently, there are around 20 states in the US that have what are known as drug-induced homicide laws that let prosecutors bring murder or manslaughter charges against anyone who supplies or exposes another person to drugs that causes a fatal overdose. Now, notably here, those laws were initially designed to target drug dealers, but we're now seeing their use being expanded. Meanwhile, though, in other states that don't have those laws, prosecutors are trying more novel approaches. With that, including California, where the AP reported that prosecutors in at least 3 counties are turning to drunk driving laws to charge parents whose children died from fentanyl overdose. And the argument there being that people who use fentanyl know how deadly it is, so like drunk drivers, they should know the consequences of exposing their children to their actions. Right? And those who support this method of
It definitely should be prosecuted for that.
no, hey, I think he did a good job. Like, what is this, Nazi Germany?
Oh, this guy resigned as a...
That is essentially the reaction I've seen from a few people regarding this whole Spanish Soccer Federation scandal. Which, I mean, so much is already happening, you might have already forgotten. You know, a little bit ago at the Women's World Cup, the president of the Spanish Soccer Federation decided that it was a good idea to kiss a player to celebrate, with all that leading to a shocking turn of events to at least one person.
Well, he resigned, guys. Next story. Oh, this is sad, bro.
Say that. It's not complicated. And then this news out of Morocco is heartbreaking and tragic because they got hit by a 6.8 magnitude earthquake on Friday night, with that quake being near the high Atlas Mountains in the southeast, with the large city of Marrakech being nearby. And just so far, at least 2,600 people have been killed and 2,500 injured. And unfortunately, both of those numbers are expected to rise as rescue workers continue to dig through the rubble. Which also, speaking of the workers, there's been an international effort to help. So far, Spain has sent workers, while France, the UK, the US, and Turkey have all offered substantial rescue aid. And when you look into this, one of the reasons the death toll is so high here is that many of the buildings aren't really up to robust.
Dang, bro, that's a lot, man. We actually reacted to somebody experiencing that on stream. Let's go to the next story, guys.
I'm giving the United States a comprehensive...
Like, I did not... Like, 2,500? Holy smokes, bro. It would be all over the news if it was, like, Americans that had that happen.
strategic partnership, which is the highest level of diplomatic ties that they have to offer. The two will pursue strategic cooperation as well as a semiconductor supply chain that's immune from China. They'll also trade agricultural products. And notably, the U.S. is Vietnam's largest export market, and last year, it was the fastest growing economy in Asia. Despite a shared past of war, 84% of Vietnamese have a positive view of America, with only 11% having a negative view. And the shift by Vietnam is just as much about Vietnam's anxiety.
Nice. Next one. Comment segment.
It was neither free nor fair. And then let's talk about yesterday today, although that name doesn't work today because the last show was Thursday, but I can't go to prison and assign time a bad thing. With a number.
Okay, he's talking about the comments on the previous video. Let's just go over some of the comments here. Vice used to be this great news source for stuff. Now he said, I know, right, bro? Come on, Vice. As well as copyrighting your stuff, so I can't react to it. That's why I don't react to like other news stations, because they'll probably just copyright claim it. Showing a product on a show without getting paid for it is the biggest endorsement of a product. Did he really? Alright, guys, you can read the comments in the description, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, check out Philip DeFranco in the description. Let me know what you think in the see you guys next video, guys.